Good have Shabbos, everyone. Parshas Tzav, Parshas Parah, Shabbos following Purim. So an idea to connect maybe all ideas together. In Parshas Tzav, we find that we get ready the dedication of the Mishkan that's going to be completed next week. But the 7 days, the Shiva Simei Maluim, the 7 days of getting Aaron and his sons ready for service, and Moshe Rabbeinu acting as Kohen Gadol in those 7 days, is the ending of this week's Parsha, and one of the main ideas of this week's Parsha. And we know that Aaron HaKohen, it's brought down that he had to bring a sacrifice every day as Kohen Gadol in order to kind of make himself able to be in the position of Kohen Gadol. And the question that's brought down is that we know that there's a concept that the Kohanim eat, and the Bailim, the ones who bring the sacrifice, they get a kapara and atonement by the eating of the Kohanim, which means to say that the Kohanim, through their eating, are able to elevate and refine and to bring atonement to the person who sinned. So the question is, how could Aaron, who's achieved completeness, that's so complete that he's able to refine someone else, have himself, that he needs to become refined? He has to bring a carbon, like the one who eats becomes food. It's brought down in Medrash that when Shimshon, the Gibor, saw a bee's nest in the lion, he was wondering, how could the lion that eats everything itself become food? And the idea is that as refined as a person could achieve and could be, there's always level for improvement, and getting ready for the ideas of, let's say, the times of Mashiach. So even if we've completed all our avodah in this world, there's still going to be a second level of refinement, as it's brought down in the Haftorah, a second level of refinement that's going to be for the Jewish people in the coming of Mashiach. And it's also the idea of Parshas Parah. We know that we learned before, Parshas Parah is connected with the idea of intuition. It's brought down in the Medrash that Leiv Yedeas Maris Nafshayu B'Simchasa Leis Arv Zar. The heart has the feeling, the heart has the intuition of the negative and the positive, and therefore something that's not connected, like the heart is connected, the Jewish people are connected to God, so that even if things are not yet the way they should be, even if the happiness isn't in front of us, but the heart has that feeling, and therefore something that's foreign, the mind even, that says, what do you mean, how are you excited, how can you be happy, how can you celebrate Purim, how can we be happy today? There's some that the world looks dark, we have an intuition, we have a feeling, and we know that something great's about to come. And we know that something's very powerful about Parah Aduma. The Parah Aduma was the most holy of sacrifices, and that's expressed by the fact, like we learned this morning, that every part of the red heifer was consumed by the fire and became part of the ash. There was even the skins that in the carbon oila, that the carbon oila traditionally gets fully burnt on the mizbeach, but the skins were taken off and given to the kohanim, where the Parah Aduma was totally consumed by the fire. At the same time, the Parah Aduma was done outside, not just outside of the temple, but outside of Jerusalem, a place where a person would sit alone that couldn't come into Yerushalayim. That's where they burnt the Parah Aduma. And the Rebbe connects it very nicely to the idea of what happened, and the Gemara Tainus brings down, that happens on the 20th of Adar, which is this Shabbos, is the story of Choni HaMagal. When the Jewish people were going 3 years without any rain, so they went to Choni HaMagal, the Gemara tells us, and he made a circle, we all know the story, and he davened, and he demanded from Hashem exact, perfect rain. It was too little, he says it's not enough. If it was too heavy, he says it's too strong. He said, we need rains of blessing, Yishmei Bracha. And he was able to effect that there was, even though there was 3 years, and 3 years is a chazaka, an established fact, that it could be God's disappointed, and he's not bringing rain, he's not giving us blessing. But nevertheless, the Jewish people know that no matter what the situation is, that even if a person is outside of Jerusalem, even if a person is chutz l'machna, even if a person can't enter the city of Jerusalem or the temple, that's where we take the Parah Aduma, that's where we take the red heifer and we burn it to completion. The highest level of the sacrifice is done in a place where a person can't even enter into the temple. And the lesson is that even if we have a chazaka, even if we know that things are negative, leiv yedeas maris nafshe, the heart knows the simcha's coming. A person may look at the reality and say things look dark. The Parah Aduma goes to your place where things are dark and says there you can do a sacrifice. So we have a complete circle over here. We have Aaron HaKohen, who's the highest of level Kohanim. Even on the highest level you need to do refinement. You have extra refinement. And even if you're in the lowest level, you can't even enter the temple, you're still a person that's a part of the Klal Yisrael. You're still a person with the holiest of the sacrifices. It's done in your space, and no matter what the situation is, you can still have a connection to Hashem, still have a connection to Yiddishkeit, still have a connection to the ideas that are done in the Beis HaMikdash. I want to wish everyone a good Shabbos. Like the Rebbe says, those who haven't fulfilled the mitzvah of Ad Yadam Purim, Shabbos is the completion of the whole week. So you could say L'chaim when we bring Simcha, and we shouldn't just have that the heart knows the Simcha, we should see it with our eyes, with the coming of Mashiach. May every Good Shabbos.